Hello, welcome to the part 2 of our Nigerian Smoky Party Jollof series. Now here are all the ingredients we're going to be using. I'll be introducing you to them one after the other. Here's our goat's meat stock. Yes, I'm using goat's meat for this recipe. Here's our rice, and of course our pepper mix. You already know how we made this. It was roasted and it was blended till it was smooth. Next is our onions. You need loads of onions for this recipe, and of course butter, cooking butter. Lastly is our tomato puree, and then you of course have your herbs and spices. Now I'm going to heat up this iron pot, and then I'm going to put in oil into that. This is vegetable oil. Now if you don't have flavored oil, you can just roast in your spices. Now here is me adding my rosemary. I'm also adding some basil, and I'm also going to be adding some fresh thyme. This thyme was frozen, and that's why the color is not as green. And of course I'm adding some bay leaves. Of course I'll be adding also some seasoning cubes, and I'm going to fry that for at least 10 minutes before putting in the other ingredients. This is another great option if you don't have flavored oil very handy. Just fry your spices first in that oil and allow it to release all that lovely goodness into that oil. Now once that is done, I'm going to be adding in even more spices, guys. I need this jollof rice to jollof. Put in some diced onions. I had diced them earlier, and I prefer to use white onions for this particular recipe. There is a difference between white onions and purple onions. That difference is there for you to also search on Google. But guys, white onions is very flavorful. I prefer it in my jollof, but your normal regular red onions is also fine. Here my tomato paste is going to be going in. I'm going to fry that for another 10 minutes because you want all that sour taste from the tomato paste to go away. You don't want it to taste sour in your sauce. I'm going to be adding my blended roasted pepper mix that I shared earlier. I'm going to be putting about 3 scoops of this. I'm making about 6 to 7 cups of rice. This is going to be a large batch. I'm going to be storing that for my family in the fridge. Now for the tomato paste, I used about 2 sachets of tomato paste. Now if you're going to get the one that's in a tin, the regular tin tomato, you can get just 1 if you're making this exact quantity. Otherwise you don't need that much. Now here is me rinsing up my blender cup and adding more water into that mix. I'm going to allow this stew to fry, or this sauce to fry. Guys, one of the secrets to making the best jollof is that the stew base must taste really good before you add your rice. So you're not going to rush this process at all. Reduce that heat from high to medium and allow that to cook. Never mind my pot. This is the pot I use for my jollof. I just find that it's just so good, and it gives my jollof a fatty smoky feel. So this is the pot I use. You can use any pot that you have. I'm going to be adding the secret spice at this point, guys. I'm using about 2 tablespoons of this. I love the flavor it's going to infuse into that jollof base. I'm going to stir that together. By the way, guys, you know you can make this in large portions and then store this jollof base in the fridge. This is going to help you to save time. So whenever you want to make jollof rice, you just go into your freezer and then bring out 1 portion and then make it for the family and for yourself. Now here is what we have after about 15 to 20 minutes. Until the oil floats, please do not put in your rice. It means the sauce or the stew isn't fully cooked yet. Just look at how this particular stew base looks. This is what you're looking out for. I should also add that this particular brand is one of my favorite seasoning for jollof. It truly embodies the whole jollof mix. It has your bay leaf, and again, it's not a paid ad, right? I'm just letting you guys know what I do to make my jollof. Put some seasoning and then stir that together before you begin to add your washed rice. At this point, the aroma that should fill your kitchen should already let you know that you're doing something right. Our washed rice is going to be going in at this point. Again, I mentioned I'm using about 6 to 7 cups, 7 cups precisely. So you want to add all of that together, and then we're going to stir this until all that jollof mix enters into the rice. So you want to stir this properly. Again, you're not in a rush. You're making jollof rice. Give it all your attention and time. So you're going to stir that together. I'm going to keep stirring this, and this is what you should also do too, until everything looks like this. This already gives you an indication as to how your jollof is going to turn out. Now our goat's meat stock is going to be going in at this point. Please use chicken stock or vegetable broth, whatever is available to you guys. I'm going to be using that into my rice, and then I'm going to once again stir everything together, stir it well. Again, this has to be on medium heat. I'll be adding extra water into that because I need that to cook well. Now, once again, you do not want your water to be the same quantity as the rice. You just need it to be a little above the rice, and that's because we're going to be using this foil. So the rice is going to be cooking with its own steam, or in its own steam. That way you don't have to add more water to your jollof rice. Reduce the heat now from medium to low, cover the pot up, and then watch that jollof. Guys, this particular jollof rice is one that you need to try out, and if you follow all the tips and tricks I've told you here, you're going to get that amazing party signature jollof, the one you get at parties, the one you get at weddings if you're very conversant with Nigerian weddings. And this was after about 25 to 30 minutes. I'm going to be stirring that up together, and you can see how it looks, guys. The aroma already was beautiful. And one more thing, guys, your jollof has to burn. I know that sounds cliche, but you see that burnt aroma you also get. It doesn't have to burn too much, please, just a little bit. Here I'm adding some butter, I'm adding some cherry tomatoes. You can use your regular tomatoes, just slice them up and add them to the rice. You can see my butter already melting. It's going to give another rich flavor to your jollof. And of course, onions. If you're one who doesn't like onions, you can reduce the quantity, or you can decide not to use it at all. I like to cut them into these onion rings, and then I'm going to stir all of that goodness together. At this point, the jollof is almost ready. Just a few minutes more and you have your Nigerian party smoky jollof. Here is me checking to see that the seed is soft, and it's actually soft. It's beautiful. It is so good. I need you to also follow this recipe, try it out, and let me know what questions you have. Bye, guys.